All right. So, last week we had the great games. Oh, that was awesome. So
Fuck your games.
yeah, I'm sorry, like
Rigged. I challenge the results of those rigged elections.
the results are undergoing a recount by all the kingdoms of Hylia, but in the interim, at least,
Stop the games.
No politics in my good Christian D&D.
Stop the games. I'm losing. That's what's going to happen.
I want to keep counting it for the run, but don't count it for the climb. That's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
No more politics. Move forward.
There were no politics in the great games. I just couldn't win.
So, unfortunately, the highlight event, the Great Relay, our brave heroes of the prophecy were unable to clinch the ultimate victory, although they did not do bad. Thank you, Rebel, he agrees. They got second out of fourth. Oh god, I'm so off tonight. Alright. So, following the Great Relay, the majority of you were recovering in the competitor's area, getting your wounds tended to, dressings cleaned, getting some refreshment, and so on. Ina and the rest of your supporters, your friends, were in the crowd up here on the top of Mount Vulcan. After a rousing speech where King Acastus pandered to the crowd as he is often wont to do, he presented each and every group of those who survived anyway, with the medals that they so righteously earned or didn't earn, unfortunately for some people. At the end of his speech, his tone changed. He became more menacing, more aggressive, and he implicated each and every one of you as a group in front of the gathered citizens of Mitros, Astoria, Arisia, and the Outer Lands for crimes against Mitros, capital crimes of arson, murder, and treason. As he did so, the dozens of centurions, both of the Matrosian Guard itself, the Order of Sidon, and King Acastus's personal centurions, pointed their spears aimed towards you, shields up, preparing to defend themselves and take you captive in the name of the king. So, you find yourselves on the beautiful, glistening marble stage in the center of Mount Vulcan. A quiet crowd looks on suspensefully. The centurions around you, some of them steadfastly, some of them nervously, have you at spirit point. I'd say the ring it's a pretty big ring around you because of the way the stage is. You probably have 20 to 30 feet from where you are in the center to the nearest centurions all around you. King Acastus is up on the stage. Excuse me. The other competitors are on the stage. Commander Gaius is on the stage. The sun is pretty high in the sky. The Great Relay was a morning event. You can see clearly. The entire crowd waits, hangs on the moment to see your response to this challenge of arrest. You have the scene. What are you going to do?
No. I raise my hands. I have no weapon, I have nothing. I'm very clearly just hands up.
And that is a good point. Just to remind everybody, Ina, fully clad in her normal dress, of her armor being not dress. You have your weapons with you. If you choose to have brought them to the Great Games, I don't really care either way. Renatus, you are also fully clothed. The other three, you are nothing but your undergarments. Your armor, effects, things of that nature are stored somewhere off to the side.
So even after the games, we would have stayed naked?
Yes, you would stay like that up until the point where the games are over, to accept your medals and things, and then after the crowd disperses, everybody goes off to do their own thing. So
I gotcha.
So you three you're on Lycus Cyanus are still in your competing attire or lack thereof.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my hands up and be like, all right, let's get this over with, I guess. You guys have clearly already decided what you're gonna do. Might as well not fight it. I mean, what am I gonna fight you with, my hands? People have heard how much I don't hit with my hands.
Ina's gonna put like one hand on her axe. She's not gonna like draw it, but she's just looking to see what her city party members are doing. Kind of figure out what the hell's going on.
2 of them have their hands up.
Yeah, but I'm holding out hope for the third one.
Euron's like, I surrender. Yeah.
Just doing that.
Whatever. You fucking cunts. You want it? Come get it. And I like rip my pantaloons right off. There you go. This is what are you not entertained?
You hear a muffled gasp from some of the men and women throughout the crowd. Quickly goes silent.
I'm not looking.
I just want to piss him off. Acostus.
Oh, that's what one of those looks like.
What did you think it would be? A snake?
You've seen Folons, yeah? I imagine.
I mean, we're not centaurs.
Not centaurs. I
No, y'all
don't know if everyone's looks different.
That's enough chatter.
Says you. You want to get in on this?
Do I see Queen Valis anywhere? My eyes scan the crowd for her.
You do. You can see over the heads of most of the Centaurians, especially you, being as tall as you are. Right there in the, for lack of a better term, the cordoned off area, you see her, the Oracle, the other gods, and your other friends. Except for Folon, who's on stage with you. And give me an insight check.
Oh.
Can't really tell what's going through her mind, but it is clear that she is pissed.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I won't put up a struggle, but I'm not gonna raise my hands.
I'd like to take a moment and turn and give a look at, keep my hands where they are, obviously. And I'm resting him here because it's more comfy. And they're gonna look at His Majesty. And I'm gonna try, and I'm not gonna say anything out loud because, no, anything that you say can be used against you in a court of law. And I'm just trying to do, you fucking planned this, just like not surprised. And disappointed.
Okay. If you're looking for a response, or are you just giving him a look?
I'm sort of looking for a response.
Give me an insight check as well. Renatus, what are you doing? I've heard from everybody else.
Please don't fireball the entire arena.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of in the shadows. Not say in the shadows, but you know, like just in Centaur shadow, just kind of like. Also, not putting my hands up, but not showing outward, like fight. Just kind of pondering,
Okay.
thinking. Got my thinking cap on.
Okay.
Also, I rolled an 11 for insight.
Okay. You lock eyes with him, and you kind of furrow your eyebrows a little bit and send what you believe to be a clear message to him. and he maintains your gaze for a moment, and you see the corner of his mouth rise up a little bit in a sly grin, where he looks over to his shoulder at Gaius, and Gaius turns around, motions towards several of the Order of Sidon Centurions, and they lower their spears, place them next to the altar, and then produce from behind, underneath their cerulean capes, a set of shackles for each of you. They approach slowly, still very, very much on guard, and one by one, as the other four kind of form a little bit of a barrier around you, take your hands, place them in front of you, shackle your hands, go down towards your legs, shackle your legs.
I fart if one goes by that ankle.
Like, she's stealing your bit.
That's disgusting. Seriously.
You hear one of them not so appreciatively clears their throat, and then moves on. You're on Lycus, Ina, Renatus, and then Cyanus. And the crowd slowly moves in. The crowd of Centurions slowly moves in before you have a dozen on either side. The spear tips pointed in your direction, not exactly at you, and then they slowly nudge you toward to begin escorting you off the stage towards a path that leads down Mount Vulcan. As you exit the stage and begin your walk up to the side, you hear Acastus address the crowd in the background. I know what some of you must be thinking, and it pains me to say it is true. Even myself, your king, has been deceived by these traitors and their prophecy. But know this: if anyone stands against the dangers of Thylea, it is I, your king. I will protect you from the wrath of the vengeful titans, the gods themselves, and even those who would usurp us and bring danger and ruin upon your heads. They will be taken to the dungeon, and the trial will commence at dawn. And almost as on cue, the great silver dragon flies up over your heads as you're cresting over the path below. The massive wind from his wings beating down upon you, scattering dust and rock around you before it settles on the stage. And Acastus hops on top, looks around. Dragon streaks off of the stage, low over Mount Vulcan, down towards the city. As you turn the corner down the path and walk slowly towards Mitros, you don't hear a pin drop. So, Centurions walk you all the way down through the streets. The stragglers of those who didn't come to the games, those that maybe were working or were ill, hear the chains rattling in the streets, since the city is essentially a ghost town. The metallic sounds echoing throughout the marble columns and buildings around you. And one by one you see people here and there look at you with confusion and surprise, marking your path all the way up towards the palace. When you arrive at the front, you take an abrupt left and you walk around the side towards a small building several dozen feet away from the palace itself. It's a relatively simple rectangular marble building with a bronze door with a heavy clasp on either side, and you see there is an opening in the doorway for someone to speak through about eye level for most humans. The guard exchanges some words, they open the door, and they bring you down. The lead centurion, the one at the tail, lights a torch, putting their spears away, and walk you down relatively dry, cool stone corridors. A little bit of a maze. It's kind of hard to keep your sense of bearing, as eventually you are brought through these dark hallways, past cells with many citizens and other people of many races, behind barred doors looking rather worse for wear. when you get to a relatively open chamber with cells on either side. Ina and Renatus, you are still shackled, but your hands and your feet are unshackled, one at a time, to remove all of your equipment and your clothing, and they produce these wooden crates for you to throw them in as they take their weapons from you, first and foremost, and your staff. You are brought down to your undergarments. You are each given a white cloth. It seems like it's been used before, relatively clean. It doesn't smell, but it's essentially a white cloth toga. And you are shackled, it is placed upon you, and then you are ushered into separate cells within a dark room. As the heavy brass locks slam into place, you see one centurion goes across the room, gets a seat on a chair at a table. There's a small candle next to him, and he appears to be guarding you. You've seen several of these located throughout the dungeon at various intervals, centurions on guard. And this one seems to be dedicated to your room itself. And I do have a map for this. Let me go there.
Just so I'm clear, are we still shackled?
Once you have entered the cell, they remove your shackles.
Okay.
I should have clarified that.
Joey, your TV is just a tad loud.
Okay, then. Thanks.
I will find a spot sort of near the wall, at the wall, and just sort of sit down on the floor unless there's a bench or something. Probably just sit on the floor. Hope it's not in a wet spot.
Renatus, nice view.
Yeah, I'm fixing your token right now.
I gotcha.
There you go.
Thank you.
A second here to fix this. Alright, so you find yourselves in dungeons beneath, which you can guess it's carved. It's obviously carved within the rocky hill that the castle at Mitros sits upon. You find yourselves in your own cells. You have probably close to 18 hours or so before you're called upon for the trial. Is there anything you'd like to say or discuss or think about or do? The cells themselves are all stone. There is a bronze gated door with bars upon it in front of you. The time is yours.
You know, I was always curious what these looked like. Didn't like it.
I wasn't.
Can we hear each other?
If you talk loud enough, you can. Yeah.
Okay, but we're all in the same wing.
You're all within pretty close proximity of each other, yes.
It's a little dark in here.
There's no one here beside me.
Yeah,
Fucking disco lights pop up in one of the cells.
Can you cast? Yeah, because you don't need any components for that, right?
It's a cantrip.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just making sure you don't need any components for that.
Nope, it's a cantrip. I literally go, it's dark in here. And then I go, poof. And then as soon as the guard shows up, poof. I don't know whose those were.
Unfortunately, my friend, it is VSNM.
Is what?
You do require verbal, somatic, and material, and you don't have anything on you. You don't have your instruments on you.
No.
So you attempt, but then you realize you don't have your your pipes on you to summon the dancing lights.
Clearly there's a glowworm somewhere in this cell.
Is there anything on the cell? Because I could use prestidigitation. Poof.
What do you mean?
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
That's what I said, the P word,
Okay, so,
and I would make a fire.
yeah, so long story short, if your spell requires any type of material component, you cannot cast it. Otherwise, you should be able to cast it.
Oh,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
cast it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poof, I'll make a little fire.
Would you say this outfit is fleece?
It's cotton, unfortunately.
It's cotton? Yeah, because that makes sense in the desert.
I mean, it's not the desert, but okay.
If it is Greek, if we're going Greek mythology, most likely it's linen, or flat.
I'm
But
gonna reset my camera.
so you're on sort of close to the door, and if the guard looks over, he just sees many sets of eyes, kind of doing that faint, like glow in the dark sort of thing. just go. All of you nearby.
I stick my hands out the door, and I'm just like, hi. Trying to like wave my hand and be like, does anyone see my hands?
Yeah,
I see you, Sionis.
Euron can see. Everybody else, you can't see your hand in front of your face. Well, okay, I would say there's a little bit of dim, very dim light coming from the candle in the corner. You could probably make out the bars of other people's cells, and if you like put your arms out, you could see them. But yeah, that's it. Everybody besides Euron.
Can I I want to make a fire to light up the room and then snuff it out.
Yeah,
But what are you
So
going to
we
light
get
up on
sight.
fire? Your body?
you can
Are
create
you
a flame
willing to
in your
cut
hand,
off part
right?
of your beard and use that as fuel?
No, prestidigitation is you light a torch, a campfire instantly. It's not produce flame.
Okay.
Because I have it too.
Yeah, there
Which
is a
is
big
why
difference.
my linen is spotless.
You could light your toga on fire. I'll give you that. But
Well, you were naked earlier. You don't need it.
They dressed me. Against my will, they dressed me. Just to let you know that. Just gonna say that.
While I'm in here, my criminal past starts coming back to me, and I'm just like, all right, well, while I'm here, I might as well try and look at these locks and see what they're working with. I mean, what else am I gonna do? I'm just sitting here until they come down.
I'll like move towards the bars too, so I can like hear everybody better. And I'm gonna call out for Euron and just be like, "So what happens now?"
The trial is at dawn. They will either call us as a group or call us each one by one. And they will tell us what we are accused of. And we have to try and prove to them that we either are guilty or not. Most likely, we're trying to prove that we're not. Most likely, unless you want to go ahead and say, yes, I've murdered or burnt something down or committed treason or all of the above.
You'll hear a cough from a cell down the block.
And what happens if we're found guilty?
Those are all capital offenses. Will be fed to the dragon. Whatever it is, there's some kind of creature they keep under the courthouse. People are fed to it. No one's ever come out, so presumably it's something of a decent size, and they don't really arm you before you go in.
Fine is just gonna think how we're gonna get out of this.
I start examining my cell for anything.
Okay.
Investigate my own cell.
I have an interesting hypothetical thought, because this would definitely be going through your aunt's head. Because normally it's meant to be sort of like a trial, but like it's death. You're supposed to be fed to it. Is there anything that's planned out of what happens if you survive? What if you survive being fed to the dragon? I know it's expected you're not going to, but...
Okay. So I need
Then you
a
survive.
history check with advantage for Euron, investigation checks for Cyanus, and for Lycus.
Alt for advantage, right?
Correct.
Oh, he always does that.
Hey.
Hey! Natural 20.
Okay. So
So
you're
21.
on. To the best of your knowledge, there's no type of backup for that, just because it's never happened and it isn't even thought of to be able to happen. And what did you two roll?
I rolled a 12.
I rolled a 2.
Cyanus, the lock is very large. It's well oiled. The bronze is not corroded in any way. I mean, the clasp is about the size of your thumb in thickness. They seem to be pretty well maintained. No obvious defects or things to take advantage of. Lycus, you see amongst the walls, barely flickering there in the very, very dim light, some scratch marks and things along the stone walls. There's a little bit of refuse from the last inhabitant of this.
Oh, prestidigitation. Clean that right now. That's disgusting. No.
Okay.
I have the cleanest fucking magical room there is.
The remainders of cloth and things like that are very, very clean now. They don't disappear.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a reputation to uphold, even in this despicable place.
He was attacking my legs.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say something, and then kitten.
That's my fault. I broke y'all. That's my fault.
Okay. No, sure. So there is one possibility I can think of.
Oh yeah? What?
There's no plan in place if you actually survive.
So wait a minute. Let me make sure that I'm actually fucking understanding you. Are you saying if we take care of the thing, then they can't punish us?
Well, I'm saying there's no plan. It's not like they have a backup of, oh, if you survive the dragon, we're going to just stab you. There's nothing in place.
I'm sure they'll compensate.
We survived our sentence. Can we are we free to go?
Have we proved?
Basically.
We proved our innocence by murdering your pet.
By trial by combat, that we might be able to spin it that way, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea.
We are supposedly, he's trying to prove we're not the heroes. I'm not saying try to get us put in for the dragon, but if that's how it's going to go.
Well, if it comes to that, I feel like we should have a plan so that no matter what, we don't go in there as not a full party. Because if one of us goes down, all of us should go down.
Come again?
Strength in numbers, I know.
Did that motherfucker just say if he dies, we all die?
That's what I heard.
Fuck that! Y'all hear from down the cells?
Wouldn't it be better if, like, 4 could, like, rescue the one?
They don't tend to let people watch.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but if one of us falls on their sword, so to speak,
And then the rest of you...
can go get weapons and
down.
armor, and then attempt a rescue. Wouldn't that give us better odds at beating whatever's down there than all of us going down there naked?
I presume the guard is listening to this and just shaking his head.
Give me a perception
Hey,
check.
Phil, what do you think? I'm assuming that's Phil, from Sideways Island.
I mean, I don't think you know his name, but
I know everybody in Mitros.
His
Oh.
name is Phil.
His name's Phil.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Maybe he works for the Lady of the Coin. Sanus, use that avenue.
Yeah, no. But I
Give
mean,
the secret call.
Caca, caca.
What's
No,
the
but,
opposite of bzz, 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 bzz?
But I mean, Ina has a good point. But from what Euron was saying, I mean, none of us are, as a whole, are as the city folk would say, innocent. I mean, except for maybe Renas. I mean, he's new, but
Yeah.
He's
I don't know what you got me in.
Things.
But yeah, I feel like we should definitely plan for, like, if anything like that happens, like more of them go down, the rest of us are upstairs or whatever.
The only problem I can see with that is simply that if we did manage to get out of whatever charges they put on us, I don't think they'd exactly let us run off home, grab our weapons, come back, and then just let us down there to help fight.
Well,
We would have to go through pretty much any guard between the entrance to the courthouse and the entrance to the dragon.
I mean, you guys can just, I mean, you guys saw, like, how my people operated. Like, I'm sure you could find a way down there. Like, we're crafty. We've shown that. We're very crafty.
Plus,
I'm learning how to make my own potions.
very
Very
good.
crafty.
Plus, and I believe this is something I do know. I would know because I've seen court proceedings before. Part of the trial is they make sure we're telling the truth. Or they try to make sure of it. So you have to try and be strong enough to resist that if you want to try and presuming that we are guilty, if we want to try and not be, you have to try and resist it.
Joey, how many guards do I see outside this cell?
Or just tell the truth.
Just one by the candle.
Hey! Excuse me, good sir?
He
Bill!
ignores you initially. But as you continue to
Hey.
pester, he looks over towards you.
You know I won't shut up. I just want to ask a few questions and then I'll shut up.
He stands up and walks within 10 feet of you, bringing the candle with him so you can see his face clearly. He has a dark brown goatee that comes down past his chin. Otherwise, he's wearing normal Centurion bronze armor. He doesn't have a weapon with him at the moment. Alright. What is it?
What's your name, boss? I don't want to be disrespectful, sir. I would just like to know your name, to whom I'm addressing. That is all.
Bolondia. My friends
was
call me Phil.
I knew that was you, Phil. I knew that was you.
Alright. What is it?
Well, I'm not sure where you stand on the whole situation, but I was just curious, what, was this news to you, the accusations against us? Was this something that y'all had been, knowing was planned for some time? We're just very shocked and surprised by all this, and I was just curious what you may or may not know about it, that's all. I'm not here to cause any more trouble. I'm just trying to make some conversation, help the night pass by, I'm sure you're wanting to get home once it's all that's said and done.
Yeah. This is the first time hearing of it. No, I did not expect to see you a lot down here. And, as far as I know, when the news spread, no one else knew about it either. As far as the accusations against you, well, I had a nephew that took the black robes, so I hope things turn out in your favor.
Wasn't happen. Oh, I'm assuming it's not one of the ones we were able to save. I'm
For
sorry.
reference, Corey, that means he joined the cult of Lutheria.
Which is usually a very, very, you're poisoned and fucking brainwashed and tortured.
And your soul's sold to her, effectively.
Sold to her.
So once you die, you're in her service.
Officially, since we're catching up on lore, common knowledge is that the children are given to the Temple of Lutheria to serve Lutheria under varying conditions. Overtly, they're always consensual, and once they are taken to the service of Lutheria, they are never seen from again because they are given the rights, they are taught what they need to know, and then they are sent throughout Thylea to perform services in her honor. No, I hadn't seen him in 3 years. He was not one of the ones that you brought back.
Phil, just out of curiosity, do you think we're actually going to get a fair trial to say what we know to be true, or do you think it's pretty much? I don't know what you've seen, the people they've brought in. In your honest opinion, for someone who has been here and as experienced as you are, do you think we have a prayer's chance of actually having a fair trial to speak the truth, or do you think it's pretty much just a public spectacle at this point, and the trial has already been determined guilty?
What I believe? Give me a persuasion check.
Yeah. There you go, 17.
I believe there are many who would like to see you found guilty. And I believe there are many who would like to see you found innocent. And I believe that the court in Mitros is the ultimate arbiter of justice in all of Thylea. Because the judgment reflects the will of the many people of Mitros. So, you are guilty because people believe it to be so. And if you are innocent, so the same. And after all, isn't that all that really matters?
I believe you are correct.
Ina's just like beating her head against the bars, like, oh my god, this fucking city. Ridiculous.
Do you think His Majesty will be in attendance?
The king typically presides over the more notorious of trials, so it would not surprise me in the least.
And will we be able to have counsel?
It's a council.
You may have someone speak on your behalf if you wish, but then only that individual may speak for your side. Whether or not you think that is the best course of action is up to you.
So if we get someone to speak on our behalf, then we cannot speak. Is that what you're saying?
That is true.
And we can only call one person.
Indeed. If you are tried as a group. If you are tried individually, then you may have your own speaker each. But again, if you choose to have one speak on your behalf, then you are to remain silent.
Can you call upon anybody? Excuse our ignorance. We've just never been put on trial in Mitros. Or does it have to be predetermined or pre-approved?
Your speaker must be willing. Aside from that, it may be anyone.
Oh. Okay. Thank you very much, Felonius.
Blondia.
Yeah, that one.
No. There is no one around, which is why I was able to speak with you. So if you have anything else, mention it quickly before we attract more company.
Would I be able? This is foolish. Forgive me. Would it be possible for me to get a pair of pants? I'd like not to die with my bits out.
Unfortunately, no.
God damn it.
He says over his shoulder, and then turns and walks back towards the side of the room.
Just want some pants.
The togas are down to mid-thigh to knee on each of you. Kind of short on Ina, and they had to like kind of quickly fashion 2 of them to get the majority of your body, but it's haphazard but functional.
Still means I'm going fucking commando. No, thank you.
All right. Well,
So
I
do we?
just go to bed.
Well, do you want to talk this? Are we gonna have someone talk on our behalf, or are we gonna just do it by our lonesomes?
I'm doing it individually.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of us should probably go individual. Because, I mean, no one else knows our story except, you know, us.
Renata's just like, I don't fucking know anything.
This is perfect. I like this game.
Yeah, maybe if they make us go as a group, Renata should be the one that speaks for us. Because if they force him to tell the truth, he knows nothing.
Tell us your secrets, sir. We can't break him. He won't speak the truth.
It's all truth.
It's all truth.
What did they do? I don't know. Were you part of this? No.
Don't lie to us. I'm not. Damn
Look,
it.
I just met these guys
Stop
like 2 weeks
beating
ago.
me.
It's fine.
Before we go to bed, Euron's would like to just kind of sit and pray. And specifically to Mitros in just a, please let this go smoothly. Please. We have a job to do. We need this to go well. Please help us turn this in our favor. Like, just please.
So, after a few minutes of discussing things, speaking to Phil, you each kind of sit down, get as comfortable as you can on the hard stone floor. Not hard to gauge the passage of time here. Every now and then one of you will start kind of just wrapping your fingers on the floor, on the wall, restless. You hear grunting and a little bit of moaning from being uncomfortable. After it feels like forever, a pretty long period of time passes, you hear footsteps coming down. Not the normal footsteps of the metal on stone that the Centurions make when they're passing through, shuffling prisoners in and out, changing guard, etc. But they're soft and padded. And coming around the corner, you see a candlelight at first, and then the visage, the dark complexion, curly hair, ceremonial armor of Mikara, the personal assistant to Queen Valis, and following closely behind her, Queen Valis herself. She walks over to the guard, they exchange some quiet words, and the guard seems to be dismissed around a corner for the time being. Mikara walks towards the middle of all your cells and clears her throat in an attempt to summon you. And one by one you kind of either pick up your heads or stand up, approach the bars, whatever your individuals would do.
Before anyone else says anything, I'm just gonna go up to the bars and like, your husband's a bit of a shit, isn't he?
Mikara looks over you, her eyebrows furrow darkly as you feel the look of knives across your face.
You hear
collecting
the
herself.
thud of a forehead slamming into the bars.
Collecting herself, Mikara says, Queen Valis would like to speak with you. And steps to the side a bit, and then Queen Valis steps forward. Are you alright? As best as you can be. Have you been
As well as
abused?
we can be. No. As well as we can be in here. I have no sense of what time it is.
It is early evening. You have been in here for several hours. Do any of you require food or water or medical attention? Anything of the sort?
Weapons
Yes.
and armor would be great.
I'm sure they would, Anna. And if you would, forgive my candor with you earlier. It was not proper of me to take that tone with you. Your frustration is warranted.
Ina just like turns, whatever.
How about a conjugal visit?
Lycus, you can't
Not
say
with
that to
you.
the fucking
I
queen.
mean, not with her. She said, "Can she get us anything?" I'm defending myself from myself. Not with her. A request. I'm not a barbarian. I'm a satyr. I just have one special lady I think would be great for a conjugal visit, and I know she happens to be in town. That's all I'm getting at. Would that be too much to ask before I face imminent death?
I mean, would you really think she'd want to come down
Shut
here?
up! You stay in your cell and stay out of mine!
I'm just confused. Is he talking about his body pillow or the actual person?
So
You have a wife and
water
pillow?
would be marvelous.
He drew his
I like it.
stick figure on his body pillow.
Yeah, you weren't there for that part.
He
have
drew
a wife
Kira
and pillow.
on a pillow,
Yeah.
so he could kiss her at night.
Lady Kira as a body pillow for those cold, lonely nights. And on that note of that name, that happened to be the name of the lady I would like my conjugal visit.
Not Ayla?
Shh! Shut up! Don't give her
No.
more ideas!
Lycus, I am certain that if things turn out as we all hope, and I believe they will, then you will be freed from these ridiculous accusations, and the people of Mitros and every other kingdom will be falling upon themselves for a chance to accompany you in those ways. And if not, there's always the satyr's tale. But
I look at my tail.
Are you talking about the Siren's Roost, my lady?
my apologies. I didn't assume Lycos would be one to pay for such things, but if so, that is fine as well.
Don't let that snake-headed bitch put words in your mouth. Your vision of me, the good stuff.
The Siren's Roost is where the good stuff is. The
You
thing is
tamed
real
You
for
tamed
Talbot.
me. You
I
tamed
mean-
me.
I mean, you guys can say the satyrs. You can say that the Siren's Roost was where all the good stuff was, but I mean, I found that one dick that left us there.
Right. Okay, scratch my previous statement.
I'm just like, oh, yeah.
You see, as you're going back and forth in this banter, Queen Valis and Makar just kind of look at each other and kind of playfully nod their heads before waiting for you to finish. Well, it is good that you're
Heroes of
in,
prophecy, ladies and gentlemen.
it is good that you're in such spirits.
Sort of have to be, don't we?
Yes, it is.
Could I
it's
get
good.
my crown, my lady? If I go to face the wrath of the people, I would at least properly be robed to do so. And I just feel naked without it.
Just before the trial begins, you will all be given your... Oh, hold on. Webcams froze. Here we go. Pick it back up. Yep.
There we go. Now you're back up to
I saw it
three.
drop out, so I was waiting. Everybody's good? Okay. And just before the trial begins, you will be taken to receive and put on your personal effects so that you may be seen in however you wish to be seen. Of course, minus any weapons or arcane effects. We have wizards from the academy that ensure that nothing magical is given to you. At least nothing that can be used to cast charming or dangerous spells.
My lady, I am a charming and dangerous spell. Is it possible to seek an audience with the king before we go to this trial?
You may certainly seek it, although
He
I don't believe
smirked
he will
at me.
accept it.
Okay, well, I will seek it if you ever happen to catch his ear. Please.
Well, I have caught his ear, Lycus, but I will be sure to catch his ear again.
Just ask him how his dreams have been as of late, and just let him know that I'm inquiring.
Very well.
Oh.
I will do this.
Thank you. That's all. And then I go sit down.
What'd you come down here for? Surely not to simply offer us water and bread.
No. Indeed, Ina. Business as always. I came to inform you a bit about your opposition in the trial tomorrow, and to make sure that any requests you have of speaker, or things of that nature, witnesses, are fulfilled. I wish I could say I trust all of the Centurions our city to make sure that these things are faithfully executed, but I cannot. Targon will be speaking on behalf of the crown. He is
The
one
general
of...
of the Centurions.
Yes, the leader of the Centurions, the leader of the New Dragon Lords, as they call themselves. He will be speaking for the crown, for the city. He will be quoting evidence, witness testimony from several individuals. I do not know these names, but perhaps they mean something to you. There is one, Faval Tiran. From what I gather, he is the new leader of the Temple of Lutheria. There is one, Manal Lorios. I'm not sure where he comes from. And someone simply by the name of Castor, if that means anything.
Lorius.
Manal Lorios.
Lorios. Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah.
I'm blanking on who that name is. I'm sorry.
Manal was the one sailor that
Oh, the one that survived. Oh no.
They have also gathered eyewitness testimony from throughout the city. No one in particular to speak on your behalf, but they will present it as common knowledge, witness testimony. I could not get the specifics, mind you, but perhaps that gives you some inclination as to what may be brought against you. I hope so, at least. So, do you require a speaker or any evidence or witnesses that I can be sure are brought to trial in your favor?
You're on. Bring out your Rolodex.
God. I don't have a Rolodex kept.
Could y'all bring the priest that you asked to revive Castor?
Mistred.
Oh God, fuck that guy! Fuck that guy! Y'all just hear from myself. Fuck that guy!
Don't be rude.
I mean, all right, Lycus, let me play devil's advocate for this one. He actually may be able to help us seem like we're good people more than we already are.
You begin to hear me bang my head on my own fucking door.
We did ask him to revive someone from the dead. I mean, if someone was trying to fucking overthrow the city, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want that.
Is he the best person to speak for us, though? Because we can only call one, right?
Well, he'd be a witness. He wouldn't be
one per
speaking
person
for us.
And he would be a witness, not. I don't think.
Okay, so that's different. A witness and a speaker are different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Mistred is a possibility.
I cannot quite remember the name, but there was the satyr we enlisted. The one who told us about the dam on the creek. I don't remember his name. The older one.
The older one that got mad at Manal for speaking lies about us?
Yes, that one.
What about that group that's Squirrel? Wasn't he with us the
Marcus?
entire time?
He has been here the entire bloody time.
He's still on your fucking shoulder.
No, he's
I
he's-
know.
How'd you get down here?
He
She
is?
just always forgot when he was on her shoulder.
He is? What?
No.
So he could be a witness.
So that's at least 3 people that we have so far. Can we think of anyone else?
Yeah, I call Kira as my witness.
I am curious. Is it possible to call the Oracle herself as a witness?
That was going to be my next one.
Yeah, let's call her. Let's call
Considering she-
Wythor.
I was
He's
gonna
in
suggest
town.
it, too.
Can I call you, my lady?
Such things are unprecedented as far as the Oracle and the gods, but they are not
Fuck
explicitly...
precedent!
The Oracle, at the very least, one of the issues taken here is that the prophecy is false, correct?
Yes.
The Oracle herself was the one who delivered the prophecy. As such, that speaks to some logic that suggests that she should be called.
As long as they are willing, there are technically no limits on who can be called as a witness, so...
Yeah, let's try getting her.
Yeah, we're only here because of her.
Hey, you're on.
Phil, you writing this down? Phil, you got all this? You transcribing?
He's not here.
Oh, I can't see.
He got sent out when Lady Valis came in.
All right.
It's her and Makara in here.
Oh, I
Hey,
can't read
you're
this
on.
one.
Do you think your brother might know anything?
My
That
brother.
would-
Oh, hold on. I got confused. He might.
Your
But
brother
he's-
now. Just comfortable with saying he's your brother.
Fair enough. He's been here for some of our journey, but he at the very least could attest to our character.
Is there anyone that doesn't like us that we can put up there? Who doesn't have anything bad to say?
Castro truly doesn't. I
Yeah,
killed him, but he lives, so...
And we don't know how much he remembers.
Considering he's a key witness, I would say he remembers a lot.
enough.
Yeah.
My lady, forgive me. It's been some time since I witnessed a trial, but I'm aware there will be some measures to try and ensure that we tell the truth. Yes.
That is correct.
Will that be placed on the opposing counsel as well, the Tarkon and his respective witnesses, or simply on us?
It would, indeed. However, the Crown isn't planning on providing any witnesses. Archon is speaking on their behalf, and...
Fair.
But yes, he will have the same enchantments cast upon the speaking podium when he is addressing the jury as you will. And you will each be given an opportunity to, not only you, but also the Crown will be able to inquire of any witnesses and attempt to ascertain the truth for the people of Mitros.
Alright, here's a real quick weird question. Did any of us happen to catch any of the names of the kids that we saved?
No, I don't think we are.
Oh yeah, I got them all memorized.
I think one was named I swear I have some memory of a kid named Molly. I genuinely, I don't remember where that's from, but I swear that's in my brain.
Well, if we can get any of them to at least talk about that'd probably be good for us, I think.
It would also
That was
put us at the scene of the fire.
And it would also potentially, besides the fact of saying that we took somebody from an important ritual, regardless of what we think of the Church of Lutheria, it was an important ritual and we took them from it.
Stop confessing while in prison.
Who else can hear us? But More importantly, it means we would be calling forth a child to talk about a very traumatic thing that happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
I
those
say
nice satyrs out
The
in the
five
party?
gods and the oracle, they need to come up for us.
Well, one
They've
of them
been
we
more
have to
than
call-
happy to let us do their dirty work, so they can like show up for us in this hour.
One of them can't really be called down. And I'm looking up vaguely at the sky.
I will let my brothers and sisters know that
Please,
you call upon them.
please.
I will.
I will follow that up with a please.
I will. The Oracle, the gods. Is there anyone else?
There is a druid that travels with us named Hercus. If possible, could we call upon him? And Folon, the centaur that was present with us at the competition.
All right.
And did we have a name for that elder satyr, the one who was at the village?
His name was Furent.
And there was a satyr named Furent who their witness, Manal, is aware of. He would be good to speak on our behalf as well.
As a witness.
As a witness, yes, that's what I mean. As a witness. Sorry, this is throwing me off.
All right. It will be done.
Thank you.
As I'm curious, no need to satisfy my curiosity if you have not made up your mind yet or wish to save yourselves for the decision, but will you be attending trial individually or all together?
I think individually.
Yeah.
And will you be speaking for yourselves?
Yep.
Yup.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, you may send for Makara if you need anything, and if it's something I need to attend to, I will be available to you until the morning.
If there's time, I'd like to read some of those books from the academy. That'd be really cool.
I will see if I can get permission for you to read some books. Yes,
Thank you.
certainly. Alright, well, be hopeful. Stay brave. I'm sure things will turn out as they should. And I believe those will be in your favor. She turns and begins to walk off. For a moment, Centurion comes back in the room. Not Philandia, a new Centurion. He sits down, posts guard, and you're left by yourselves once more. So, is there anything else to discuss or do before you settle in for the evening?
I mean, I think I'm set. Unless anyone has anything specific to say to me, I'm gonna go try finding a nice, comfy corner.
Okay. Alright. Well, as you settle into the gloomy, dark chambers of the prison around you, we're going to take our break so that when we return,
And go right into it.
we will commence the trial century. And we're back. So, for a interminable amount of time that seems to stretch on for virtually days, as you sit in the quiet dark, anticipating the next morning, you sleep to one degree or another, You all get a long rest, in case you haven't done that. Not a very comfortable long rest, but mechanically sufficient. The next morning comes without you even being aware of it. First indication is the rapid change and echo of sounds coming down the dark hallways of metal on stone of many centurions. Philandia is leading them towards your cells, about a half a dozen. One by one he goes over to your cells, opens them one at a time, motions you forward, tackles you once again, a look of grim duty on his face, while some of the other ones, most have the same look of resignation. One or two of them seem to be taking pleasure in this, whether it's because they're against you or because they just like the fact that they are in control of such famous people. Can't really tell. But you are bound and shackled. You are brought, raided out of the palace grounds. People lining the streets on both sides to see your succession through Metros, bound in the ceremonial togas, as you are walked all the way out of the palace district, through Stygian Row, up into the noble district. Crowds lining the street on both sides. Most of them are quiet. Most of them are somber. Here and there, you'll get somebody jeering at you. Some are openly weeping. Most of them are just kind of quietly staring. You make your way to the court. It's massive, largely cylindrical white marble building, standing well apart from all the other structures here in the noble district. You see 3 floors with rows of symmetrical windows, and standing in front, several large bronze tablets on either side of the entryway, describing in great detail the laws of the city itself. As you're walked into this massive, circular, gleamingly beautiful courthouse, the interior, you see 50 rows of seats encircling the inside circumference. And then higher up on a balcony, more seats up there. And packed to the brim with people standing all the way in the back, shoulder to shoulder. Hundreds of citizens of Metros have come here in the early morning light to witness and be a member of the jury for this monumental trial. You're walked around towards the side and into an antechamber on the edge that you can't see from the front. Within here, several more centurions, they take over you and then they unshackle one arm, one leg at a time, allowing you to dress yourselves and regain your personal effects. You find within these wooden crates that house your dressings that all the weapons are gone. Anything you can use, your spellcasting focuses are gone, material components are gone. Your armor, jewelry, things of that nature, even if they are magical, are allowed as long as they don't have the capability to cast any type of a charm spell or anything similar, and they have no offensive properties. So you can imagine your equipment as it is. Generally, you're all allowed all of your armor and things of that nature. Okay? Taking 10 minutes to get dressed, a little bit of a slow process, especially trying to put armor on with one leg and one arm shackled at a time, centurions helping you. You are brought out into the center of the courthouse. You could hear a pin drop in here. A bird actually flutters through the upper window, and you can hear its beating wings dozens of feet above as it flies through the room. Here on the central marble pediment, you see Arcanum with his long scarlet red cape, gleaming bronze armor, neatly polished, his hair slicked back. He has a scroll in one arm that's slightly unfurled. Nearest to the court, you see King Acastus sitting apart from everyone, not quite in a throne, but in a large, ornate marble chair, gilded with bronze and gold, with his crown dressed in his finest regalia. And if he is feeling anything at this moment, he doesn't give it away in his outward expression. Seated near him, you see Queen Valis in a slightly smaller chair, and then rows of his centurion guards themselves, also in the similar scarlet capes. Scattered amongst the crowd, you see many faces that you've seen throughout the city, some in the Great Games themselves. You see your friends and allies nearby. You see everyone that you call as a witness, all of the gods, and the Oracle, and Folon, and Hercus, sitting on the opposite side of the altar, looking up at you, their faces expressing concern, frustration, everything you would expect. You are brought up to this large altar. It's about 30 feet in diameter. Excuse me. About 30 feet in diameter, and you are brought and sat upon bronze chairs with cushion padding that have been arranged, 5 next to each other in a semicircle fashion. Opposite you, see Tarkon in the middle. There is a podium of sorts for whoever is currently speaking. Once you've all settled in and the suspense grows to an almost unmanageable level, Tarkon steps forward towards the podium and addresses the crowd. Citizens of Mitros, it is my duty and honor on this day to seek justice for the crown of Mitros and all her people. The crown charges these you see in front of you with capital crimes: arson, murder, and treason itself. I am speaking on behalf of the Crown this morning. I will be presenting testimony given to us directly from witnesses in the presence of myself, leader of the Centurions of Mitros. The accused will have a chance to speak on their own behalf. They have had a chance to call forth witnesses and evidence that they will be presenting towards you, but know this: the task before you is not small. Although their lives may hang in the balance, much more is at stake on this day. Now, remember your decorum, or you'll be escorted out and imprisoned by the Centurions. Archimedes has ensured that there is no unacceptable enchantments laid as is normal. And I will begin. He kind of collects himself, unrolls the scroll in front of him on the podium, glances over it a bit, takes a couple of deep breaths, and looks up. Through the testimony of many witnesses and evidence that the Centurions ourselves have collected and examined, in addition to those at the Academy, we charge those seated before you as follows. These individuals have committed arson and murder in the name of treason against the people of Mitros. First, they attempted to stifle the flow of wine to the Temple of Lutheria from the vineyards, as well as convince the other wine merchants in Mitros not to supply wine to the wine festival in the honor of the Queen of Dreams. These actions were taken to diminish the influence of Lutheria here in Mitros and bolster favor with the 5 gods, putting Mitros firmly in the crosshairs in their eternal conflict. To achieve these ends, they murdered Trellis and Septia, the former leaders of the Temple of Lutheria, as well as several of the satyr vineyards who supply us in the Temple of Lutheria with their wines. Furthermore, they set fire to the Temple of Lutheria after kidnapping many children in an attempt to cover up evidence of their crimes and to further impact Lutheria's influence. They put their personal goals and beliefs above the good of the city and her people in pursuit of this prophecy, and risked Mitros facing the wrath of Lutheria in the process. And now, the witness testimony. Pastor of the vineyards, a satyr in good renown and of good repute with those who know him, said the following. The so-called heroes of the prophecy approached him about cutting off his wine supply to the temple of Lutheria. Their intent was to make Lutheria look bad to the people of Mitros and those who follow her. Castor himself did not want to do anything to anger the Titans, but upon refusing, they insisted under pain of death. When he further refused, they attacked him and his friends in the vicinity. Thanks to the intervention of the goddess of the dawn herself, Mitros, the clerics at the Temple of the Five resurrected him. He assured them that the heroes of the prophecy would pay for his resurrection services, and then immediately went to notify the centurions of this group's nefarious plot. Upon returning to the glade in which the assault happened, he found his other friends dead, and the traces of the water elemental they had enchanted that supply the vineyards with their precious life scattered about, destroyed. Menalorios, another satyr of the vineyards, corroborates largely the key points in Castor's story. He says he was told by Castor to follow the heroes after the first time they approached him because he didn't trust them or their intentions and report back what he saw. He says that he was found out by the heroes and brought before Castor in what ultimately turned into a fight. During his time watching them, he states that he saw them ambush Trellis and Septia Heraton. He saw them bring them back to the Temple of Lutheria and saw the battle firsthand between the heroes and Castor and his friends. He says he also took arms up against the heroes in self-defense. However, they gave him the chance to flee. He is not sure why. When asked about why they attacked Castor and the others, he said, "I'm not sure," and I quote, "I'm not sure. There seemed to be conflict already, and the attack happened after Castor broke a harp which had been promised to the heroes." Testimony of FableForge, the new leader of the Temple of Lutheria. When asked about the children, Fable claims they were preparing the children to take the black robes in service of Lutheria. They were undergoing rituals to cleanse their bodies and spirits in anticipation of this service. He further claims that they were unlawfully abducted from the Temple of Lutheria, and they were then brought towards the centurions for protection. A note: Queen Valis has taken personal care of the children, and they are not in the hands of the Temple of Lutheria at this moment, pending the outcome of this trial. On the same day that the heroes arrived with the children, a mysterious fire broke out somewhere in the back of the Temple of Lutheria, and it was largely destroyed. The Crown believes this is enough evidence and witness testimony to charge the heroes with the aforementioned capital crimes. Now, it is my belief that this group has spoken to be tried individually. Is that correct? And he turns over and looks at you.
Aye.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
In accordance with custom and the laws of Mitros, you will each be given an opportunity to speak on your own behalf freely, and then you will be questioned by me, the representative of the Crown. And then you will be given the opportunity to call forth your own witnesses and evidence in your defense. So, I yield the floor. At this, he turns, steps away from the podium. Everybody, you kind of feel the chamber breathe in a giant sigh and release it, waiting for each of you individually to step up. and speak on your own behalf.
God. Who wants to go first? This is out of character. Out of character. Who wants to go first?
Ina doesn't. She wants to see how this is going to run first.
I mean, I'll go first.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's get the innocent guy out of the way.
Get the innocent guy out of the way. Oh, God.
Renatus is gonna start walking up and kind of like look at his pals, like, all right. And I'll take the stage.
Okay.
So I just start, or
Sensing your hesitation, Tarkon stands up and walks over to you. You seem unsure. This is where you introduce yourself and then say whatever you wish to in your own defense. No one will question you. This is a free speech period, but take care as to what you say. He turns and steps away.
my name is Renatus. I joined the Heroes of the Prophecy at behest of the Oracle, and I'll kind of gesture. And we had met at her residence, and from then, it was about 2 weeks ago, we headed off to find the Ultros. And we've been on the road ever since, from the Ultros back here, straight into the games. And I have no knowledge or anything about any of this going on.
Everybody's kind of looking at each other curiously in the crowd. Is that it?
Yeah?
Yeah. This is when you would go ahead and step back towards your chair.
I'll back off.
Next.
I'll go up. I stand up. I turn over. I just want you guys to remember, I love you. And then I walk up to the podium. Lycus, the Magnificent, here to testify on all these charges. Charge number 1. Stopping the flow of wine into the city. Yes, we found that incoming shipments of wine were poisoned, to the best of our understanding. And there was some sort of disturbance or interruption, some sort of, I believe it was not a hostage thing set up, but pretty much the wine was being tainted when it was sent in, and we were tasked by the leaders of the cult of Lutheria to find out what was happening and to get it back, get the flow restarted. And we did. We were charged by the cult of Lutheria to investigate the problem with the flow of wine. So we did. We went out to the vineyards. We did discover that the wine was being held more or less ransom by Coster and his crew, although they may not know what he was doing, or Castor, excuse me, what Castor was doing. But yes, ultimately, he was holding it hostage and demanding greater payments, and he was, in fact, poisoning it with, and I forgot the name of the mushroom, but I will name the mushroom, which, as many people will know, in greater amounts than acceptable, can and will cause significant problems, especially in young children. And this wine was being freely handed out to all those who could get their hands on it. Castor was very angry, of course, but he acquiesced it to the best of our knowledge until he charged us with murdering the leaders of Lutheria. He asked us to go kill, and I believe my friend has a letter that Castor wrote to charge us with killing the cult leaders of the. What did you say their name was again? It slips my mind.
Trellis and Septia Heraton.
Trellis and Septia. Yes. So Castor requested us to kill Trellis and Septia. Okay. Well, this just got interesting. We had our answer for the wine. Now we were charged and we're given a note officially commissioning us to kill the cult of Lutheria's leaders. Didn't want to do that. So we set up a meeting in the lower docks, but we were unable to meet because they were ambushed and they were killed while en route to the rendezvous. Upon finding their dead bodies, we fled the area believing safety was paramount and we were now compromised. We took the bodies back to the actual cult of Lutheria and demanded them to be resurrected. And to the best of their abilities, they did attempt to resurrect their fallen brethren. But Lutheria was not with her people that night. And then, unfortunately, they were not able to bring them back. They can count that we did stay by their sides. And we did bring their dead leaders back. And then we gave them all the information we had, as well as the letter for their assassination, and clearly pointing out who wanted them dead. Stole the children? No. There was no thievery of children. I did go back into the church, and unbeknownst to me, there was an initiation ceremony and everybody was missing. I didn't know that. I went through the back door and I investigated. And I came across a cavern and I saw blood, crying children, great amounts of distress, and feared the worst. In fact, I actually transcribed a ritual that was being wrought upon these children, and I can quote that under spell, mind you, of truth, word for word, exactly what that spell is and can and was doing to those children. And if you bring any of them up, God forbid, we do not wish to traumatize the children, I'm sure they can account word for word exactly what I am telling you here and now of that ritual. In the escape to save the children from any possible harm, I cannot deny the possibility that a lantern or something may have fallen and there may have been a fire started. I cannot deny that as a possibility, but I will not accept responsibility because there was a mad rush of children trying to get to safety, and there was a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of problems. We brought them to the Centurion where we asked for assistance, and we found that assistance at the Temple of the Five Gods. So yes. Did I go into the cult of Lutheria? Yes. Was I invited? They said, come back if you ever have any more questions. And I went into the back door, and I couldn't find anybody. What else you got?
This is your time, Legus.
Oh, this is my time. Excuse me, yes. Any more charges? Is there any other nonsense? Is there anything more you wish to hear? And the king is here, right?
Yes.
We have done no crimes. I have done no crimes against Mitros. We have done the task you have given us to the best of our abilities. We have been charged to complete these tasks by the Oracle herself. And even your good queen can validate in her grand wisdom, what we have done and why we have done it. So I would merely question those who would bring those accusations upon us. Perhaps they should be thoroughly investigated. I have nothing more to say to you.
With a
Good day.
flourish, Lycus turns from the podium and looks back. You see, as he speaks, consternation among several of the Centurions in the new Order of the Dragon Lords. Acastus remains relatively motionless in outward appearance. You see some smirks from those on your side, your friends, and dotted throughout the crowd, the same. So, with Lycus sitting back down, you cut the air with a knife.
I will go. And I'll rise and I can kind of go. Same thing, just sort of. Love you guys. Wish me luck. And I go to the podium. I am Euron Kratoan of Mitros. This city is my home. I have lived here my entire life. I will corroborate everything that my friend Lycus has said. I will also add to that as an additional piece. When we returned after having delivered Trellis and Septia's bodies and seeing that they were unable to be revived, we returned to the vineyard to discuss what had just happened. And as far as Castor had considered it, the debt was repaid. It may not have been by our hand, but they were dead. And as a gesture of gratitude, he had offered us, yes, what Manal had stated, a harp, which we brought the broken pieces back of, and it was the Boreal harp belonging to Kira, which had been reported as stolen from the Temple of the Five Gods, along with all of her other sacred instruments. When Castor began to hand the harp back, yes, he broke it over his knee on the condition that he had promised to give it back to us, not that it would be in one piece. And yes, a commotion was started. And yes, we'd let Manal leave. We let the fight was, oh god, now Arya's fumbling over her words. Fuck. Oh god, I'm running out of fucking words. Jesus.
Josh took all of the words.
Yeah, no, Josh used all the good fucking words. Bard. Okay. And not only did he attempt to bargain with us with an artifact belonging to a goddess, he then proceeded to break it, and is now attempting to blame us for this transgression. We will also add that while that water is flowing to the vineyard again, as a result of us going to deal with a group of bandits known as the White Fox, who had blocked off the river and were extorting the Satyr village and other traveling groups outside of the city and forbidding them from leaving and not receiving any water, which was why the elemental was needed in the first place. But my concluding piece. Mitros is my home. As Paz being charged in this prophecy, I am here I move forward as with my companions to try and protect Thylia and all those within it. But first and foremost, this is my home. I love this city. It has its flaws at times, but it is the place that raised me and made me as I am. I have fought for this city. I spilled blood for this city. I am like this is an attempt to protect this city. Why would someone who loves it so try and commit treason against it? Thank you. And I'll go back to my seat.
Okay.
And her hands are shaking, like full on, like you're on. It looks calm, but her hands are full on, like basically that. I mean, mine always do, but.
All right. The crowd absorbs that information, breathlessly waiting for the next hero to step up.
I look at Cyanus. You or me?
You can go ahead, man.
Okay. Aina will step forward. They call me Aina from the Yathana tribe. And I was called to join this group by the Oracle. We were begged to come here by the king. And then in his incapacity to solve the city's problems, we stepped up and solved it for him. And beseeched the 5 gods to stop the hurricane, which they did. And since that day, everything we have done within the walls of Mitros have been for the betterment of Mitros. And that is all that is not all I have to say. While I was in the cells after being wrongfully arrested and accused of these capital crimes, one of the guards said that this was the arbitrator of justice for all of Thylea. And I just find it very suspect that the testimony that was given against us cannot be cross-examined because those people did not have enough fortitude of character to come say those words themselves. How can that be justice? And that is all I have to say. And then I'll go back.
There was widespread murmuring underneath the breath each time another blow comes from Aina's rhetoric.
Euron very subtly tries to give her a high five.
Lioness.
Alright. Stand up, crack my knuckles, crack my neck, and walk up. Ladies and gentlemen of Mitros, before my testimony, I want to let you know I love all of you.
We are never gonna let you let that go, Joey!
Love you guys.
I will I don't want to waste any of your guys' time. My compatriots here pretty much laid out everything that I know as well. If I had anything to add, I would. The only thing I think I can add is if I am guilty of any of these crimes, for I am professing my innocence, if I am guilty, let Lutherius strike me down right here, right now. Oh, nothing? Nothing.
I don't know if I'm in a cage or something, but I literally get as far away from him as possible. Just slowly.
Euron's face
I'm
is
just peering
blank.
around the room, and I'm just like, interesting. I rest my case and slowly step back.
Huron's face is blank, but her eye is twitching, and she's trying not to die laughing.
Cyanus, as you're stepping back, give me a religion check.
No. I don't know if I wanted to roll high or low. Muted.
I'm just gonna have to do this on my D&D Beyond sheet because the map we're on doesn't have those.
That's a good point. Y'all can pull up your character sheets, by the way.
19.
Okay. Alright. As Cyanus sits down, Tarkon comes back up to the podium. The accused have spoken on their behalf. So now, Archimedes will enchant the podium and the area around it to ensure that they are being honest and forthright with their testimony before the jury. Before that, I need everybody to give me a persuasion check.
Wow.
Okay, so you're on.
18!
Alright. Lycus?
15.
Ina?
13.
Cyanus?
22.
Renatus?
5.
They don't believe you're innocent, motherfucker!
That's fine. If one was gonna roll low, it'd be me, because I had no part of that story.
Actually, I get advantage on persuasion when I wear the glasses, so it would have been an 18. I just rolled it again.
Beautiful. Alright. So, Tarkon looks over. I've been informed that you will all be speaking on your own behalf. This is correct?
Yep.
Very well. Renatus, step forward.
Strong gate all the way up. Let's go.
You got it. As you stride forward and stand about 5 feet away from Tarkon, you see Archimedes rise up from near the king, from King Acastus, and you see him close his eyes, his mouth moves wordlessly, and then you feel this rush of energy descend upon you. I need a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh, man.
For the record to all of you, I'm shaking.
No, I can see it.
17.
Alright. Tarkon looks over towards Archimedes. He has resisted the effects of the spell, Tarkon. Very well. Let it be known that Renatus has resisted the effects of Archimedes' spell. Tarkon now turns to you. Renatus, you claim you have no knowledge of these things being called into question. Is that true?
Yes.
You claim that... No. Did you or did anyone you know kill the satyrs of the vineyard on that day?
No.
Did you or anyone you know kill Trellis or Septia Heraton?
No.
Do you know of any concerted effort to diminish the influence of Lutheria in Mitros?
No.
Did you or anyone you know take the children from the Temple of Lutheria and deliver them to the Centurions at the Temple of the Five?
No.
So to be clear, by Lycus's own testimony, they were responsible for taking the children to the Centurions at the Temple of the Five, and you are saying that you do not believe him.
I'm saying that I have no knowledge of any of this happening because I wasn't present or around.
Very well. But do you believe him?
Well, of course.
Do you believe everything that he said?
I have no reason to think otherwise.
Very well. You may be seated. I need another persuasion check, Renatus.
Great. $15.
All right, thank you. Murmuring amongst the crowd for a moment, Tarkon looks over. Lycus, if you please.
I stride up to the podium.
I need a charisma saving throw.
Would I have been able to determine if the spell was a zone of truth or something? Or if they were trying to charm or what? Just out of curiosity.
Give me an Arcana check. I will tell you that'd be really hard to tell exactly what the spell is.
How's a 19 work for you?
I'd say you don't know for certain, but
Oh.
you're pretty sure it's Zone of Truth or something very
Okay.
similar. So charisma saving throw, please.
I will fail the save on purpose.
Okay.
I voluntarily will not resist your spell.
Okay. Tarkon looks over. Archimedes focuses for a moment. Spell has the effect, Tarkon. Once again, Tarkon addresses the crowd. Let it be known that the spell has taken effect on Lycus, and he is commanded to speak the truth. Tarkon turns to you. Lycus. Did you or anyone you know kill the Satyr Vineyards?
Yes. The Vineyard Satyrs, you mean? Yes.
Yeah, that was me. My bad.
It confused me for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I confused myself. It's been a long day.
I was like, wait, what?
It's been a long day.
Yes, we did battle the Satyrs in the Vineyard when Caster attacked us. Yes.
And we, meaning the accused.
Except for him. He wasn't in the party at the time, and I will be pointing to Renatus.
Very well.
And I can't remember if Cyanus was there. Actually. Was he there?
For the, like, all right, out of character.
Yeah,
For the
like,
fight-
were you at the fight?
For the
yeah.
fight in the vineyard? Yeah, I was there.
Okay, I don't know why, but I'm like, I don't think he was there. Okay.
It's because part of it for the first negotiation, I wasn't there. That probably might be
I
part
knew
of what's
someone
throwing
was.
you off.
Okay, that's fine. Okay,
Because
yeah, sorry.
your arm went kind of poof.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he wasn't there because he wasn't in the party at the time. Renatus.
And why did you kill the Vineyard Satyrs?
Castor had summoned demons of some sort, and when we were attacked, killing him was the best option I could think of to eliminate the demons.
So it is your testimony that you acted in self-defense.
When someone casts demons, your only option is self-defense.
Why did Castor summon these demons?
You would have to Zone of Truth Castor. I'll wait if you want to bring him in.
I would like to remind you, and everyone in this court, specifically because of Ina's allegations, that the accused had chance to call forth any witness they desired, and they neglected to call forth Castor, or Manal, or Fable. You may be the judge of why.
It was not informed that they would be compelled through a Zone of Truth spell, and they would not be allowed to lie. So it did not seem prudent to bring in someone who tried to murder me as my saving witness.
So then you say that Castor and the Vineyard Satyrs attempted to murder you.
When someone summons demons, I don't believe it's because they want to be my friend. So, yes, they were trying to kill us.
Very well. Moving on. Did you
Thank
or
you.
anyone? Did you or anyone you know murder Trellis and Septia Heraton?
Unfortunately, I did not see anyone kill Septia or Trellis. And that's truth. Because I was on a roof.
So then you
Lost
can,
in the sauce.
So then you cannot say with any certainty that someone in your group did not kill them.
I can neither confirm nor deny who killed them. I'm sorry.
How did your group happen to find the bodies of Trellis and Septia?
By walking up to them and saying, that's Septia and Trellis.
And what condition were they in when you found them?
Dead. To the best of my understanding, based on my limited medical.
Dude, I'm sorry. That entire thing just broke me real bad. I can't help it.
Someone clip that! I beg of you!
I couldn't hold it. What you fucking lost it? That was it for me. Oh, shit. Come on, man. We got 3 more questions to go.
Joey!
All right. Let's do it. To the best of my medicinal knowledge, they were dead. Or I considered mostly dead and attempted to, well, we did bring them back to the church to have them resurrected.
This ain't no Princess Bride shit!
Speaking of the church, the Temple of Lutheria, did you or anyone you know set fire to the temple?
I will admit during the escape that it is very probable that I am the cause of the fire.
And what makes you say that?
Because the fire happened after I left. After we left. Immediately after we left, as I was the last one out, the fire was going.
So you were the last one out.
Yes.
Did you see what caused the fire?
Flames.
So you saw the flames as they were starting.
No. I saw smoke. Wait, hold on. Let me think about that question. Hold on. So what did you say? So that I see the fire. Ask your question again. What was it again?
You said you were the last one out.
I was the last one out.
You said you saw flames.
No. You said I saw flames.
No, Micah said he saw flames.
Oh, okay, I did. Okay. Yeah, I saw flames. Because, torches have flames.
Was the temple on fire when you left?
The temple? No. That room that we exited? I would believe it probably was on fire. But I did not personally witness what was on fire.
That's enough. You may be seated.
Are you sure?
I am certain.
Okay. Bye, Archimedes.
He nods to you. You're on Croton of Mitros. Please step forward. Charisma saving throw, please.
$11.
Okay. And I need a persuasion check from you, Lycus. I forgot about that.
Uh, 16.
You're on Croton. Wait. And he looks over to Archimedes. The spell has taken effect, Tarkon. And once again, he announces this to the crowd. So, and just to clarify, those of you who are unfamiliar with Zone of Truth, you cannot tell a deliberate lie. It is Zone of Truth. You cannot tell a deliberate lie. Okay, you can avoid answering. You can work the words like Lycus was. Okay, but obviously, you're good, Lycus. But obviously, Archimedes has some type of attunement with the spell. He can tell if it has taken effect or not, and may be able to tell more things also.
The accusations.
So, you're on Croton. Similar questions. Were you, or was anybody you were with, responsible for the murders of the Vineyard Satyrs?
Yes, we were in battle with them.
What started this battle?
Breaking of the heart followed by the summoning of demons. Oh, creature, things. I don't really know exactly what a demon is. All I know is magic and then things that looked like they were going to tear my face off.
Right. Demons. So you said breaking of the harp. So the battle started when the harp was broken.
Give Ari a moment, please. The battle started with the summoning of the demons. The harp was the initial event that triggered the emotional onset, but the actual fight? I did not draw my sword until those things were flying at me.
Were you, or was anybody you were with, responsible for the deaths of Trellus and Septia Heraton?
I did not see the deaths occur.
So you neither can confirm nor deny the accusation.
I can neither confirm nor deny the accusation.
Then what about the fire at the Temple of Lutheria?
I was busy escorting children. I did not see what happened with the fire. I have a son. They reminded me of my son, and I wanted to make sure that they were all right. They were scared and in pain. When there is a child in front of you scared and in pain, you are focused on the child.
Yes. You've had a chance to speak freely. Now please just answer the questions. He thinks for a moment. Is it true that you and your group were in a conspiracy to stop the flow of wine in Mitros?
May I request a definition of what you mean by conspiracy?
As you have been accused, your group sought to stop the wine flowing from the vineyards of Mitros, and then also sought to have the wine merchants stop delivering it as well, in an effort to diminish Lutheria's influence amongst the people and her followers specifically. So, is this true?
I will speak to the second point first. There was no discussion among us about discouraging wine merchants to stop selling wine in Mitros. That's a significant portion of the economy of the city. We did not want to do that. Our issue took place with it was that, as we said, we wanted to deal with the wine that to us had appeared to be drugged, which my friend drank some of that wine and what was nearly went unconscious at an unreasonable speed and nearly went into seizures. To our understanding, this was poison. We wanted to stop poison.
So then you do refute speaking to wine merchants to this effect. Please explain to me then why we have witnesses after, according to the timeline the Crown supposes, after the death of the Vineyard Satyrs, after the death of Trellis and Septia. They saw you meeting with Taran Nurdagon, one of the leading wine merchants of the city in Mitros.
When a man like that invites you for dinner, you don't turn the man down.
So you spoke nothing of wine.
We spoke nothing of wine. Oh, only speaking that we did was that I hoped when the wine festival took place, I would get absolutely plastered.
Then
but we were not there.
How do you account for this visit then, Euron Crotoan?
He wanted to discuss other business with us. Not relating to wine.
You would be a great alibi, yet you did not call on him. So I am curious, what was this other business you discussed? If it's not incriminating.
It's not prudent to this current investigation.
I believe the jury will be the judge of that.
Oh god. Out of character, I think I'm gonna say it. Finally, we wanted to thank him because he was paying for our stay at first. Before we went to stay with the Oracle, we were staying at the Titan's Rest, and we were led to believe that our stay and our meals were being paid by him. In part, we wanted to thank him for it. Afterwards... Oh, fuck, I think I have to say it. No. Simply put, he wanted to discuss other business with us. That is all. I think you can acknowledge, regardless of what we may have talked about, the wine merchants did not stop selling wine.
Let it be clear that Euron Crotoan refuses to answer the question. You may be seated, Euron.
It was an honor serving under you once, sir.
He bows slightly. With a kindly look on his face. Persuasion check, please, Euron.
$17. Jesus. Bless you. I will buy a new set of dice soon.
The one called Cyanus. If you would step forward, please.
Of course. And I just...
Charisma saving throw, Cyanus.
Yeah. Oh no. I failed.
Archimedes informs Tarkon, who informs the court that Cyanus is under the effects of the spell. Cyanus. Once again, were you or any of those accused responsible for the deaths of the Vineyard Satyrs or Trellis or Septia?
For Trellis and Septia, I have no knowledge of how they died. For the satyrs out in the vineyard, I plead that we acted in self-defense.
Several of your group have stated such a thing. We acted in self-defense. Demons, something about a harp. So it is your charge that you were victims, not aggressors. Is that
Exactly.
true?
Exactly. They drew their weapons first. We acted in defense.
Were you or anyone in your group responsible for the arson at the Temple of Lutheria?
As far as I'm aware, no. I was already far away from the temple when the fire broke out. From what I could see on the streets, I was already basically by the temple district when the fire really started raging.
I see. You said something about a letter from Castor to implicate his intent to have Trellis and Septia murdered. Is that correct?
Yeah, and if you give me a moment, I can bring it out for you.
That won't be necessary. We know you're under the effects of the spell. Obviously, such a letter exists, and obviously, they came to you. So, how did this letter come in your possession?
The church had sent us on a bit of a job to figure out what was happening with their wine, because they had a shipment go missing. Our investigations led us out to the vineyard, to where we met the group led by Castor, who was in charge of that wine. Castor made us a business proposition. And that's how I came into possession of that letter.
So the letter outlines this business proposition then?
Yes.
And what were the details of this proposition?
They outlined that well, I don't feel like I need to say it. Literally, you see the letter right here.
That's fine. However, not everyone in the jury can see the letter, and we will not be passing it around because that would take hours. So please, just outline the details of the proposition for the benefit of the jury.
Castor was going to give us a harp. The one that he clearly reneged on us and broke when we went to go back and get it. Shit, I'm so nervous right now. Shit. Alright. Alright. We would get the harp back if Septia and Trellis were taken care of. Now, in my defense, I figured that meant he needed us to protect them.
So you believed the intent of the proposition was to protect Trellis and Septia in exchange for this harp. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
This is DM speaking. I'm pretty sure that might count as a lie.
Honestly, this was like 4 months ago. I don't remember.
Okay,
You
well,
can argue. You could say if it was the phrase to take care of them.
Okay,
Let him.
so just for the record, because you cannot speak a deliberate lie under the effects of the spell,
Right.
the deal was, unless I'm remembering this really wrong, the deal was for y'all to kill them in exchange for the harp. That was pretty well known, unless any of the other players refused.
No,
this.
that was his proposition.
Okay.
We put it on paper
Yes.
to put it as evidence to
Correct.
give to the church so they could actually see that, hey, look, he told us to kill your people.
Mhm.
Or no, it wasn't us. It was just a general charge to kill them, signed Castor. And then that's when we were like, oh, look, they're dead, and we found this paper.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The paper was manufactured, or did he?
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought he gave you a very
No,
general.
like he signed it.
He
for
gave
us.
you a very general. He was intentionally vague in it when he said "take care of" or something. But that's kind of getting more in the weeds here. So I don't know if you would be able to say that you honestly believed it was to protect them.
Yeah.
So I'll let you walk that back just because your memory failed you, but that's your only freebie.
Okay.
Dianus would know that.
Alright. Just rewinding that.
Okay.
Throwing that info in there.
So he repeats the detail. What are the details of the proposition that Castor made to you?
The proposition was we would get the harp in exchange for Trellis and Septia.
So he wanted you to bring Trellis and Septia to him?
Not in a manner of speaking.
So, if your other members are to be believed, then he handed over the harp, albeit broken. Yet you didn't bring.
He had implied.
Yet you didn't bring
that he
Trellis
would-
and Septia to him. So if that was the details of the proposition, why did he hand over the harp?
Oh boy. I mean, if you really want to get like into the details of it, you have to ask him.
You were party to the proposition, so I believe you know the truth as well.
Yes, but I also don't know his intentions.
So he handed it over without a word, and you have no idea of his intentions when he handed it over. Is that accurate?
Accurate.
on. My dog is sleep barking. 1 second.
I was gonna say.
Puppy.
That's adorable.
He was dreaming.
Oh.
Okay, so again, we're gonna fact check this.
Yeah.
So he broke it.
He broke it, but before that, y'all told him that Trolls and Septia were dead.
No, I thought we had their. Didn't we take their amulet?
Yeah, we took
we
something
said
off
they were.
of them.
Yeah, I think I took the Lutheria symbol and said,
Yeah, we took something off of them to be like, oh, hey, here's our proof.
This is proof of their death. Was just simply, I have their thing. And then, yeah,
And then as he handed over the harp, he cracked it over his knee.
Yes, he did. But I'm pretty sure that it was confirmed that Trolls and Septia were dead. And he also
we gave the symbol as proof of their death.
So I think it's reasonable to say that Cyanus would know that y'all told Castor they were dead. He believed you with the amulet, which is why he handed the harp to you. I know we're walking a fine line here, so I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
No, I know, but alright. Out of character. I am a fucking awful liar.
Don't lie! They were dead.
No, but I'm not lying. I'm just trying to, like, figure out, like, the best way for us to get through this shit.
I understand that. Just remember you can't lie, and I think that would be a lie.
Well, if it helps, you would know Euron had just said we went to them after Charles and Septia were killed.
Yeah.
After we found them. You can go with that.
I mean, alright.
So we're going to back it up a little bit. So why did Castor give you the harp if you did not bring them to him?
We didn't bring their bodies. We brought pieces of jewelry that were specific to them.
And this was enough to satisfy Castor?
Yes. And that's when he handed over, or attempted to hand over, the harp.
And what happened after he handed over the harp? Because that's where things get interesting.
He started handing over the harp, and then he cracked it over his knee, and started summoning his demons. That's when we went on the defense. Yeah.
I think Ina clocked him upside his head at that point, didn't she?
Yeah, Ina punched him in the face.
Yeah, Ina punched him. Yeah, Ina punched him, and then he summoned his demons. And then the fight began.
Alright, that I don't remember.
I remember something like that. I mean, we didn't start she didn't grab her axe and attack. Like, she knocked him out, or like punched him, and then the fight began when he summoned.
She punched him, fight started. We went through a round, and then she killed him in the very first proper round of combat.
I don't need to know that part.
Yeah, this is all out of character.
This is out of character. This is out of character. So he broke. Everything was peachy.
Yeah.
He broke the harp. Ina got mad, clocked him. He fell down. Then we rolled initiative.
Yep.
So the aggressor in this, if not everyone, would probably have been considered Ina, or at the very least, it wasn't just handed over the harp, boom, demons. There was something in the middle there. Now, I'm not going to say you lied with that because it was kind of vague, but I'll let you change your answer if you want.
No, I'm good.
The spell shimmers.
It just shimmers into a question mark, like.
Very well. You may be seated, Cyanus.
All right.
And persuasion check, please.
Yeah, 14.
Ina Vialfana, please step forward.
Okay.
Okay. Charisma saving throw, please, Ina.
Where are the saving throws?
You talking about the Foundry sheet?
Yeah, you just have to like
On
click the
on
actual
right hand side.
thing.
Yeah,
On the. Oh,
it should be on the right hand side.
Or you could just click the actual charisma button over where your ability scores are.
oh,
It'll
perfect.
ask
Thank
you.
you, Corey.
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking
10.
character sheet. Okay. So, everyone is aware Ina is under the limits of the zone of truth. Ina Viafana. Were you or any one of your group responsible for the deaths of Satyr Vineyards?
The only satyr in the vineyard that I fought is still alive.
We know of two satyrs that are alive after that encounter. One is Manal and the other is Castor. Which one do you speak of?
Castor.
And what about the murders or deaths of Trellis and Septia Heraton?
What about them?
Were you or any one of you responsible for their deaths?
It's a good question.
Thank
To
you.
my understanding, they were killed in the middle of the night and in a dark part of the town. And I can't see very well, if at all, at night. So I did not see anything.
And how did your group come across the bodies of Trellis and Septia Heraton?
As Lygus testified, we had set up a meeting with them, but they never showed to the meeting place that we designated. And on our way back, we saw their crippled and bent and broken dead bodies.
Where was this meeting place located at, Ina?
I believe in the warehouse district area. I'm not the one who designated the spot. I'm not exactly sure.
So were you in the warehouse district that night? For the meeting or for other reasons when you came across their bodies?
I was in the warehouse district to meet Trellis and Septia.
And what was the purpose of this meeting, Ina?
To speak with them about what we had uncovered in the vineyards.
Based upon how you found them, do you have any idea how they died?
Brutally.
It seems that these deaths surround your group. Would you say that's fair?
I would say that is fair.
A bit of a coincidence. Would you also say that's fair?
Coincidence, destiny. You can choose your verbiage.
Since you are the last to testify for the accused, do you have reason to believe, since apparently no one was able to see exactly what happened that night despite being in close proximity, do you have any reason to believe that any one of your group was responsible for killing Trellis and Septia.
Can you repeat that question?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had a long night. Do you have reason to believe that anyone in your group is responsible for the deaths of Trellis or Septia Heraton?
Well, we had asked them to come out there. And if they died en route, I guess you could claim that we shoulder some of that responsibility.
What of this arson at the Temple of Lutheria? What do you know of that?
I know I found out about it a few days after it happened, when we were inquiring as to why the temple was closed.
When Lycus testified, he said he was the last one out. So who else was in there?
I had been in there at one point. Obviously, Lycus had been in there at one point.
Anyone else?
I don't remember. While I am part of this group, I am not my brother's keeper.
Do you know if you or anyone else in your group was responsible for the fire at the Temple of Lutheria?
I know, like I said, it is possible that he could have caused it in the commotion of saving the kids, but I cannot speak to the intent of intending to set it on fire or not.
You may be seated on now. And persuasion check if you don't mind.
Six.
Okay.
I jinxed it, sorry.
The Crown has solicited and received the testimony of the accused on their own behalf. We will take a brief recess for the jury to consider their words. We will return in 1 hour so that the accused may present their witnesses and any evidence they have in an effort to favor their name. This assembly is dismissed. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.